In the silent corridors of Buckingham Palace, a single unsigned document threatens to fracture the very foundation of the British monarchy. As whispers ripple through gilded halls, one royal stands firm against an unprecedented shift in power. Prince Edward's refusal ignites a storm of speculation, betrayal, and hidden agendas, raising a haunting question. What secret lies within the document that could forever redefine Catherine's authority and alter the future of the crown? It began not with ceremony, but with silence. Deep within the palace archives, where history sleeps behind velvet ropes and iron locks, a confidential royal decree surfaced, sealed with authority yet shadowed by secrecy. Those who glimpsed its contents spoke in hushed tones, their expressions tightening with disbelief. The document was no ordinary instrument of governance. It carried the weight of transformation, an unprecedented proposal that threatened to reshape the hierarchy of the crown. And at its center stood Catherine, poised, revered, and rising. Her ascent had been steady, deliberate, and impossible to ignore. Over the years, Catherine had evolved from an admired figure into a commanding presence within the royal institution. Her composure, her diplomacy, and her quiet influence had earned her the loyalty of courtiers and the admiration of the public alike. Yet the decree promised something greater, an elevation of authority never before bestowed. A shift that would place her influence at the heart of royal decision-making. For some, it was a visionary step toward modernization. For others, it was a dangerous disruption of centuries-old tradition. Then came the moment that shattered the palace's fragile calm. Prince Edward, long regarded as the monarchy's steadfast and discreet guardian, refused to sign. His decision was swift, unyielding, and profoundly unexpected. Senior advisors exchanged stunned glances. Legal experts faltered. The air itself seemed to grow heavier with the weight of his defiance. In a family defined by duty and unity, such resistance was unthinkable. Yet Edward's resolve did not waver. His silence spoke louder than any declaration, echoing through the corridors with quiet, defiant certainty. Within hours, unease seeped into every corner of the royal household. Staff members whispered behind closed doors, their voices trembling with speculation. Courtiers moved cautiously, aware that a fracture had formed within the institution they served. Rumors spread like wildfire, some claiming the decree would empower Catherine beyond precedent, others warning it would destabilize the monarchy's delicate equilibrium. No one could agree on its true intent, only that its consequences would be profound and irreversible. Was the document a bold step toward renewal, or a perilous gamble with history itself? The question lingered in every whispered conversation, in every cautious glance exchanged beneath palace chandeliers. Tradition stood on one side, immovable and sacred. Transformation pressed forward on the other, relentless and inevitable. The monarchy, long sustained by its ability to adapt without breaking, now faced a test unlike any before. As uncertainty deepened, early signs of division emerged within the royal household. Alliances formed quietly. Loyalties were weighed in silence. The crown, once united in purpose, now trembled under the strain of an unseen conflict. And at the heart of it all stood an unsigned decree, powerful, mysterious, and waiting. But to understand why Edward's refusal sent shockwaves through the monarchy, we must first examine the extraordinary rise of Catherine and the power she was poised to claim. Once dismissed as an outsider, Catherine rose through the ranks of royalty with grace, precision, and unyielding resolve. Yet behind her composed smile lay a quiet determination that would reshape the monarchy's future. As her influence grew, so too did the expectations and the tensions. Now, with unprecedented authority within reach, her ascent threatens to ignite a silent battle within the House of Windsor. Her story began not in the echoing halls of monarchy, but in the uncertain space between admiration and scrutiny. When Catherine first entered royal life, she stepped into a world governed by ritual, restraint, and relentless observation. Every gesture was measured, every word weighed. Tradition did not bend easily, and acceptance was neither swift nor guaranteed. She learned to move with quiet confidence, adapting to the monarchy's rigid codes while enduring the silent judgments of those who questioned her place. Yet beneath the polished exterior, resilience took root. Catherine did not simply survive the institution, she absorbed it, studied it, and gradually reshaped her role within it. Over time, the uncertainty that once surrounded her gave way to admiration. The public embraced her poise, her empathy, and her unwavering composure. Within palace walls, courtiers began to recognize something more profound. A figure of quiet authority, capable of bridging the past with an evolving future. She listened carefully, spoke deliberately, and earned loyalty not through force, but through consistency. What began as cautious acceptance transformed into genuine respect, and Catherine's presence within the monarchy grew not only secure, but influential. Her ascent was not accidental. Strategic alliances formed discreetly, nurtured through trust and shared vision. Senior advisors and seasoned courtiers, long accustomed to tradition, found in Catherine a rare balance of reverence and innovation. She understood the delicate machinery of royal life, the unspoken rules, the intricate diplomacy, the subtle art of persuasion. With each careful step, her influence deepened, weaving itself into the fabric of the institution she once entered as an outsider. As her confidence strengthened, so did her vision. Catherine's modernization efforts quietly reshaped public perception of the crown. She championed causes that resonated with a changing world, redefining what it meant to embody royal duty in an era of scrutiny and transformation. The monarchy, once seen as distant and immovable, began to feel more human, more accessible, an evolution guided by her steady hand. Admirers praised her as a symbol of renewal, a figure who could carry the crown into the future without severing its ties to the past. It was this growing authority that gave rise to the document now shrouded in secrecy. The proposed decree was not a sudden ambition, but the culmination of years of trust, diplomacy, and influence. It promised to formalize what had long been evident, that Catherine's role within the monarchy had expanded beyond expectation. Yet such elevation did not come without consequence. Beneath the surface, subtle tensions stirred among traditional hierarchies, where power had always been carefully preserved and rarely redefined. Some viewed her ascent as inevitable progress. Others regarded it with quiet unease, wary of what such change might signify for the crown's delicate balance. Polite smiles concealed whispered concerns. Respect coexisted with apprehension. Within the royal household, loyalties shifted ever so slightly, as though history itself hesitated at the threshold of transformation. Catherine, poised and resolute, remained unwavering, yet the path before her was no longer free of shadows. And as her influence expanded, the silence surrounding her rise grew heavier, charged with unspoken resistance and the promise of confrontation. For within the royal family, one figure watched with quiet concern: Prince Edward, whose loyalty to tradition would soon place him at the center of a royal standoff. In a family bound by duty and silence, Prince Edward had long remained the monarchy's quiet observer, loyal, composed, and rarely controversial. But when confronted with a document that could reshape royal authority, his restraint gave way to defiance. Behind closed doors, Edward wrestled with a decision that would test his allegiance, challenge his conscience, and thrust him into the center of a royal storm. For decades, Prince Edward had existed at the periphery of royal spectacle, a figure defined not by ambition but by steadiness. He was the monarchy's constant, measured in speech, deliberate in action, and steadfast in loyalty. While others drew headlines and controversy, Edward cultivated a reputation for discretion, embodying the quiet dignity that tradition demanded. To courtiers and constitutional advisors alike, he was a guardian of continuity, a prince who understood that the strength of the crown lay not in bold gestures but in unwavering stability. Yet beneath his composed exterior lay an unshakable devotion to the monarchy's sacred foundations. Edward revered tradition not as relic, but as protection, a delicate framework built over centuries to preserve the crown's authority and shield it from instability. He believed deeply in constitutional balance, in the careful boundaries that separated influence from power. To him, the monarchy was not merely a symbol, it was a living institution, fragile and enduring, sustained by discipline and restraint. And when the confidential decree surfaced, he recognized its significance instantly. This was no ordinary document. It was a proposal capable of altering the very architecture of royal authority. In the days that followed, Edward retreated into quiet deliberation. Private consultations unfolded behind sealed doors, far from the reach of speculation and rumor. Legal advisors presented interpretations steeped in precedent. Senior courtiers weighed the consequences with cautious urgency. Each conversation deepened the gravity of the decision before him. Some urged acceptance, framing the decree as a necessary evolution. Others warned of irreversible change, cautioning that once tradition was redefined, it could never be restored. Edward listened in silence, absorbing every argument, yet his expression revealed little, only the weight of a burden growing heavier with each passing hour. The conflict was not merely political, it was profoundly personal. Catherine's rise had been undeniable, her influence earned through grace, dedication, and vision. Edward admired her strength, respected her resolve, and recognized her value to the monarchy's future. But admiration did not dissolve his apprehension. Torn between loyalty to family and duty to the crown, he found himself standing at a crossroads where affection clashed with obligation. To sign the document would affirm her authority, but at what cost? To refuse it would preserve tradition but risk igniting division within the royal household. Speculation soon spread among palace insiders, whispers threading through corridors with quiet urgency. Some believed the decree threatened long-standing precedents, subtly shifting the balance of royal governance. Others hinted at deeper implications, suggesting the document concealed provisions known only to a select few. The uncertainty intensified, casting Edward not as a dissenter, but as a reluctant guardian standing against an unseen tide. Then came the moment that would echo through royal history. In a chamber heavy with expectation, Edward faced the decree before him, its parchment, bearing the promise of transformation. Advisors waited. Silence lingered. And with measured resolve, he refused to sign. The decision stunned the inner circle, reverberating through the monarchy like a thunderclap. Shock gave way to unease. Unease to suspicion. For in that single act of defiance, Edward altered the course of a royal destiny. In the aftermath, palace whispers grew darker, hinting at undisclosed motives and secrets yet to surface. Was his refusal born solely of principle, or did he glimpse a truth too dangerous to reveal? The question lingered, unspoken but inescapable, casting a shadow over every corridor of power. But what exactly did the document contain, and why did it inspire such fear within the palace walls? Locked behind layers of secrecy, the document at the heart of the royal crisis promised to reshape Catherine's authority in ways never before imagined. Courtiers spoke in hushed tones, and legal experts warned of unprecedented consequences. Was it a visionary step toward modernization, or a dangerous consolidation of power? As speculation intensified, the truth behind the decree began to surface, revealing a potential shift that could redefine the monarchy forever. The decree was not merely symbolic, it carried the weight of transformation, a proposal designed to expand Catherine's authority within the inner machinery of royal governance. For years, her influence had grown steadily through diplomacy, public devotion, and quiet resolve. Yet this document sought to formalize what had long been whispered in palace corridors, that her role would transcend tradition, granting her a voice in matters once reserved for the most senior figures of the crown. It was a reimagining of royal hierarchy, bold and unprecedented, and it stirred both admiration and unease in equal measure. Legal scholars and constitutional advisors approached the decree with cautious reverence, aware that its implications reached far beyond ceremony. The monarchy's delicate equilibrium had always relied on precedent, each decision anchored in centuries of unwritten understanding. Now, the document threatened to redraw those boundaries. Could authority be redefined without unsettling the crown's fragile balance? Would such a shift strengthen the institution, or expose it to unforeseen vulnerabilities? These questions lingered, heavy with consequence, as experts dissected every clause, every phrase, searching for clarity within its carefully constructed language. At the heart of the controversy lay the potential for Catherine to assume unprecedented ceremonial and political influence. No longer confined to symbolic representation, she would stand as a central figure in shaping the monarchy's direction, a role both historic and contentious. Admirers hailed the proposal as an inevitable evolution, a recognition of her unwavering dedication and public trust. Yet traditionalists viewed it with quiet alarm, fearing that such elevation could blur the boundaries between influence and authority, altering the crown's timeless structure. Concerns deepened as whispers emerged that the decree might bypass established royal protocols. The monarchy's strength had always rested upon continuity, its traditions upheld with near-sacred precision. To circumvent those customs, even in pursuit of progress, risked unsettling the institution's very foundation. Senior advisors found themselves divided, their opinions shaped by loyalty, principle, and vision. Some championed the decree as a necessary step toward renewal, others warned that its legitimacy could be questioned, igniting controversy that would reverberate far beyond palace walls. Behind the scenes, rumors of secret negotiations and strategic maneuvering began to surface. Quiet meetings, concealed correspondences, and discreet alliances hinted at a calculated effort to shepherd the decree into existence. Was it the culmination of Catherine's rising authority, or the product of unseen hands shaping the monarchy's future? Suspicion and intrigue intertwined, deepening the mystery surrounding the document's true origins and intent. Each revelation seemed to raise more questions than answers, casting a shadow over even the most steadfast loyalties. As tensions mounted, the potential consequences extended beyond the palace, foreshadowing a storm that would soon reach the public realm. Those who understood the monarchy's fragility knew that secrecy could not endure indefinitely. The decree's existence, once confined to whispered conversations, now trembled on the brink of exposure. And as uncertainty tightened its grip on the royal household, it became clear that the crown stood at the threshold of transformation, its future poised between reverence and reinvention. As whispers escaped the palace, the secret could no longer remain contained, sparking a media frenzy that would thrust the royal family into the global spotlight. When whispers from Buckingham Palace reached the outside world, they ignited a media frenzy unlike any in modern royal history. Headlines erupted, commentators speculated, and insiders leaked tantalizing fragments of truth. Prince Edward's refusal became an international sensation, fueling rumors of betrayal and power struggles. As cameras turned toward the monarchy, the question grew louder. Was this a crisis of loyalty or a battle for the future of the crown? The first leak was subtle, almost dismissible, a passing mention in a discreet column, hinting at an unsigned royal decree and an unexpected refusal. But within hours, speculation swelled into a tidal wave. Newsrooms buzzed with urgency, their curiosity sharpened by the promise of scandal and secrecy. What began as rumor transformed into revelation, and the existence of the controversial document surged into public consciousness with explosive force. The monarchy, long shielded by tradition and silence, found itself thrust into a relentless spotlight. Global headlines wasted no time casting their verdict. Some framed Prince Edward's refusal as an act of quiet heroism, a steadfast defense of constitutional integrity. Others portrayed it as a royal rebellion, a defiant challenge to the crown's evolving order. Commentators dissected every nuance, every whisper, every fragment of information, their voices echoing across continents. In the court of public opinion, Edward's decision was no longer private, it had become a symbol, a lightning rod for debate about power, loyalty, and the fragile architecture of monarchy. At the center of the storm stood Catherine, her potential rise to unprecedented authority captivating audiences worldwide. Admirers saw her as a visionary force, a modern figure destined to guide the crown into a new era. Critics, however, questioned the implications of such influence, their doubts amplified by the secrecy surrounding the decree. The narrative shifted with each passing hour, weaving admiration and suspicion into a tapestry of fascination. The world watched, transfixed, as speculation transformed Catherine's ascent into a saga of ambition, resilience, and controversy. Inside the palace, conflicting narratives emerged, each more enigmatic than the last. Anonymous sources hinted at strategic maneuvering, suggesting that the document's origins were rooted in careful calculation rather than coincidence. Others dismissed such claims as exaggerations, insisting that the decree represented nothing more than an administrative evolution. Truth and rumor blurred, their boundaries dissolving beneath the weight of intrigue. Every statement fueled another question. Every denial ignited fresh suspicion. Beyond traditional media, the digital realm erupted with feverish intensity. Social platforms pulsed with speculation, conspiracy theories spreading like wildfire across timelines and forums. Hashtags surged, debates raged, and armchair historians dissected centuries of precedent in search of answers. Edward was hailed as both protector and antagonist, Catherine as both reformer and usurper. The monarchy, once distant and untouchable, now existed at the center of a global conversation, its mystique unraveling beneath the relentless tide of scrutiny. Within the royal communications offices, urgency replaced composure. Strategists worked tirelessly to contain the narrative, crafting statements that revealed little while attempting to restore equilibrium. Silence, once the crown's greatest shield, had become a liability. With each passing day, pressure mounted for an official response, the public demanding clarity and accountability. The institution, revered for its restraint, now faced a dilemma: speak and risk further exposure, or remain silent and allow speculation to flourish unchecked. As the controversy intensified, the monarchy stood on the precipice of unprecedented scrutiny. The world's gaze grew sharper, its appetite for revelation insatiable. What had begun as a private refusal had evolved into a global spectacle, a drama unfolding in real time with stakes that reached far beyond palace walls. And as the storm raged, one truth became impossible to ignore: this was no longer merely a royal dispute, it was a defining moment for the crown itself. Yet beyond the glare of the cameras, the true battle unfolded behind palace doors, where loyalty, ambition, and tradition collided in silence. Far from the flashing cameras and public scrutiny, the real drama unfolded within the palace's private chambers. Alliances shifted, loyalties were tested, and unspoken rivalries surfaced. Catherine's supporters rallied quietly, while Edward's stance emboldened traditionalists determined to preserve the monarchy's heritage. As tension mounted, every conversation, every glance, and every silence carried the weight of a decision that could reshape the royal legacy. Within the inner sanctum of the royal household, Catherine's closest confidants gathered with quiet determination. They believed her rise was not merely justified, but essential and necessary evolution for a monarchy striving to remain relevant in a changing world. Trusted advisors, seasoned courtiers, and loyal allies spoke with measured conviction, advocating for modernization and expanded authority. To them, Catherine represented continuity through transformation, a bridge between tradition and the future. Her composure had earned public devotion, her diligence commanded respect, and her influence, they insisted, had already reshaped the institution's public image. The unsigned decree, in their eyes, was not an act of ambition, but a recognition of merit long overdue. Yet beyond this circle of support, a different current stirred. Traditionalist royals, bound by reverence for precedent, found strength in Prince Edward's refusal. Quietly and cautiously, they aligned themselves with his conviction, regarding his defiance not as rebellion, but as guardianship. To them, Edward embodied the monarchy's sacred restraint, a steadfast protector of constitutional balance and inherited duty. They feared that the proposed decree, however well-intentioned, risked unsettling centuries of stability. In hushed conversations, their resolve hardened, their loyalty to tradition unwavering. As these opposing visions collided, private meetings multiplied, their urgency veiled in discretion. Negotiations unfolded behind closed doors, where every word was chosen with precision and every silence carried meaning. The royal household, long accustomed to unity, now trembled with quiet discord. Courtiers moved delicately between factions, acting as intermediaries in fragile diplomatic exchanges. Their purpose to preserve harmony even as tensions deepened. They navigated loyalties with care, aware that a misstep could ignite a fracture impossible to repair. The emotional strain was unmistakable. Family bonds, once unassailable, bore the weight of uncertainty. Affection and duty clashed in unspoken ways, casting shadows over relationships that had long appeared unbreakable. Catherine remained composed, her resolve tempered by grace, yet the burden of expectation pressed heavily upon her. Edward, steadfast in principle, carried the quiet anguish of a decision that set him apart from those he loved. Their conflict was not born of rivalry, but of conviction, two visions of the crown standing in silent opposition. Amid this atmosphere of tension, rumors of compromise began to surface. Whispers spoke of hidden concessions, discreet negotiations, and carefully crafted proposals designed to bridge the widening divide. Some believed reconciliation was possible, that tradition and transformation might yet find common ground. Others suspected that unseen forces were shaping the outcome, their influence concealed beneath layers of protocol and secrecy. Each rumor added another thread to the tapestry of intrigue, deepening the mystery that enveloped the palace. Uncertainty spread through the royal household like a gathering storm. Advisors hesitated, loyalties shifted, and the future of the monarchy seemed suspended between past and progress. Every decision, however small, carried immense consequence. The crown stood at a crossroads, its path obscured by competing ideals and fragile alliances. In the silence of its private chambers, the weight of history pressed heavily upon those entrusted with its legacy. As tensions reached a boiling point, the monarchy stood on the brink of transformation, forcing the royal family to confront an uncertain future. With tradition hanging in the balance and modernization pressing forward, the monarchy found itself at an unprecedented crossroads. Prince Edward's refusal had ignited a debate that transcended family boundaries, striking at the very heart of royal identity. As the world watched in anticipation, the stakes grew higher than ever. Would the crown evolve to meet the future, or cling to its centuries-old traditions at all costs? Edward's defiance, once confined to private chambers, had become a symbol etched into the narrative of royal history. His refusal was no longer merely an act of personal conviction. It stood as a declaration of principle, a reminder that the crown's strength lay in its continuity. To some, he emerged as a guardian of tradition, a steadfast protector of the monarchy's constitutional sanctity. To others, his resistance threatened progress, casting him as the embodiment of hesitation in an age demanding transformation. In the quiet corridors of power, his decision echoed like a warning change. However inevitable, must never come without consequence. Opposite him stood Catherine, representing not disruption but evolution. Her ascent symbolized a new era of influence and leadership, one shaped by empathy, diplomacy, and an instinctive understanding of a changing world. She did not seek to dismantle tradition, but to refine it, to guide the monarchy into relevance without severing its historical roots. Admirers hailed her as a beacon of renewal, a figure capable of uniting reverence with reform. Yet her rising authority stirred unease among traditionalists, who feared that even the gentlest transformation could unsettle the crown's delicate balance. Thus, the monarchy found itself suspended between two visions of its future, one anchored in legacy, the other reaching toward reinvention. The struggle between modernization and tradition unfolded not with spectacle, but with quiet intensity, each side convinced of its duty to preserve the institution's integrity. Within palace walls, this tension resonated like a silent storm, its reverberations felt in every conversation, every decision, every carefully measured word. Beyond the palace gates, public opinion fractured into competing loyalties. Some viewed Catherine's potential elevation as a necessary step forward, a reflection of a monarchy evolving alongside the people it served. Others regarded it with apprehension, wary of altering precedents that had endured for centuries. Across nations, debates ignited in newspapers, parliaments, and drawing rooms alike. The crown, once distant and unassailable, now stood exposed to the scrutiny of a world eager to witness its transformation or its resistance. The constitutional implications of the decree deepened the gravity of the moment. Advisors and legal scholars pored over precedent, weighing the potential consequences of redefining royal authority. Every clause carried significance. Every interpretation risked setting a precedent that would echo through generations. The monarchy, bound by both tradition and law, faced a decision that extended far beyond personal loyalties. It was a question of identity, of continuity, of the very essence of sovereignty. Amid the mounting tension, voices within the royal household urged unity. Senior advisors, seasoned by years of service, cautioned against division, emphasizing the fragility of public trust and the enduring importance of stability. They spoke of legacy and duty, of the crown's responsibility to remain a symbol of continuity in uncertain times. Yet beneath their appeals lay an unspoken truth: unity could only be achieved through resolution, and resolution demanded courage. As anticipation grew, the atmosphere surrounding the monarchy thickened with uncertainty. Would reconciliation prevail, forging a path that honored both tradition and transformation? Or would the divide deepen, leaving the institution fractured by competing visions of its destiny? The answer lingered just beyond reach, cloaked in secrecy and consequence. As the pressure mounted, The royal family prepared for a decisive moment, one that would determine whether the document would remain unsigned or reshape the monarchy forever. In a private chamber steeped in history, the fate of the monarchy hung in the balance. Prince Edward faced the weight of expectation, while Catherine stood poised on the brink of unprecedented authority. Advisors watched in silence, aware that a single signature or its absence would echo through generations. As tensions reached their peak, the royal family confronted a moment of truth that would define their legacy forever. The gathering was unlike any before it, an assembly of senior royals and trusted advisors, summoned not by ceremony, but by necessity. Their presence carried the gravity of centuries, each figure acutely aware that the decision before them transcended personal loyalty and entered the realm of history. Words were measured, silences deliberate. The unsigned decree lay at the center of their deliberations, its presence both symbolic and ominous. It was more than parchment and ink, it was the embodiment of transformation, a catalyst poised to reshape the crown's future. As the discussion unfolded, emotion simmered beneath the surface. Tradition stood resolute, embodied in Prince Edward's unwavering stance. His voice, calm yet unyielding, carried the weight of duty and conviction. He spoke not in defiance, but in reverence for precedent, for continuity, for the fragile equilibrium that had sustained the monarchy through generations of upheaval. To him, the decree represented more than progress. It threatened to unsettle the sacred balance upon which the crown's authority rested. Despite mounting pressure, he reaffirmed his refusal, his resolve unbroken by persuasion or expectation. Opposite him stood Catherine, composed yet resolute, her presence defined by quiet strength rather than confrontation. She did not raise her voice, nor did she retreat. Instead, she responded with grace and clarity, her words reflecting both humility and determination. Catherine understood the weight of the moment, the magnitude of what the decree represented, not ambition, but recognition of a role she had already come to embody. Her calm defiance spoke volumes, revealing a vision for the monarchy that honored tradition while embracing its evolution. In her silence and her resolve, she became not an adversary, but a symbol of change itself. Between them, the unsigned document rested like a silent witness to history. Its symbolic weight pressed heavily upon those gathered, a reminder that the monarchy's future hung in delicate balance. Advisors exchanged cautious glances, their counsel shaped by years of service and a profound understanding of consequence. Some urged compromise, seeking harmony where division threatened to emerge. Others grappled with uncertainty, aware that any decision, whether acceptance or refusal, would set a precedent reverberating through generations. The impasse deepened, tension tightening with every passing moment. Loyalty, duty, and ambition collided in a quiet storm, their conflict echoing through the foundations of the crown. There was no triumph in that chamber, no declaration of victory, only the solemn recognition that the monarchy stood at a crossroads, its path obscured by competing visions of its destiny. Each participant bore the weight of history, their choices destined to shape an institution revered by millions. As the meeting drew toward its inevitable conclusion, the decree remained untouched, its promise suspended in silence. Edward's refusal endured. Catherine's composure remained unshaken. Advisors departed with uncertainty etched into their thoughts, burdened by the knowledge that resolution had not been achieved. Yet within that unresolved moment lay a truth more profound than any signature. The monarchy had been irrevocably changed. And though the document remained unsigned, its shadow lingered, transforming loyalties, redefining authority, and leaving the crown poised between tradition and transformation. Yet even as the document remained unsigned, its impact had already reshaped the monarchy, leaving behind a legacy that would echo for generations. History often turns not on what is written, but on what remains unsigned. Prince Edward's refusal left an indelible mark on the monarchy, reshaping perceptions of power, loyalty, and legacy. Catherine's authority, though challenged, emerged transformed, stronger, more defined and steeped in controversy. As the echoes of this royal drama fade into legend, one question lingers. Did Edward preserve the crown or merely delay its inevitable transformation? In the years that followed, Edward's decision came to be regarded not as a moment of resistance, but as a defining chapter in royal history. His refusal, once whispered in private corridors, evolved into a symbol of unwavering principle. To some, he stood as the crown's quiet sentinel, safeguarding tradition against the tides of change. To others, he became the reluctant architect of delay, a figure who slowed the monarchy's transformation but could not halt it entirely. His choice, solemn and resolute, etched itself into the narrative of royal legacy, a testament to the enduring tension between duty and progress. Yet the absence of a signature did not diminish Catherine's influence. Instead, it refined and strengthened it. Denied formal elevation, she emerged with a renewed sense of purpose, her authority defined not by decree, but by presence and public trust. Admirers saw in her a figure of resilience, composed under pressure, dignified in adversity, and unwavering in her commitment to the crown's future. The controversy that once threatened to overshadow her ascent instead illuminated her strength, transforming her into a symbol of modern leadership shaped by both triumph and restraint. Beyond palace walls, public fascination with the royal conflict endured. The saga of the unsigned decree captured imaginations across generations, its intrigue woven into the cultural memory of a monarchy long shrouded in mystique. Commentators revisited the moment with reverence and speculation, debating whether Edward's refusal preserved stability or postponed an inevitable evolution. The narrative transcended the individuals involved, becoming a legend whispered in history's margins, a tale of loyalty, ambition, and the fragile balance of power. In the wake of the controversy, the monarchy adapted with quiet resilience. Traditions were preserved, yet subtle transformations unfolded beneath the surface, reflecting an institution shaped by both caution and necessity. The crown endured, not unchanged, but refined its strength rooted in continuity, its future guided by an awareness of the delicate equilibrium between heritage and progress. Through adversity, it reaffirmed its role as a symbol of unity, evolving without surrendering the essence of its identity. The episode came to embody a profound symbolism, tradition confronting modern authority, neither triumphant nor defeated, but forever entwined. Edward's defiance and Catherine's composure revealed the human dimensions of royalty figures bound not only by duty, but by conviction, loyalty, and sacrifice. The emotional toll lingered quietly, etched into relationships tested by principle and burdened by expectation. Within the royal family, affection endured, tempered by the weight of decisions that shaped both personal bonds and public legacy. And still, the mystery of the document's true intent remained unresolved. What provisions lay hidden within its carefully worded clauses? What future had it promised or threatened? The answers, guarded by silence and secrecy, slipped beyond the reach of certainty, leaving historians and observers to ponder what might have been. In that uncertainty, the legend found its permanence, sustained by intrigue and the enduring allure of the unknown. As time passed, the unsigned decree transformed from controversy into myth, its significance etched into the fabric of royal memory. It became a reminder that power is not always defined by action, and that restraint can resonate as profoundly as ambition. Edward's refusal preserved a legacy, Catherine's resilience redefined it. Together, their choices shaped a chapter that would echo through generations, a testament to the enduring complexity of monarchy and the fragile balance upon which it stands. And as the palace doors close once more, the legend of the unsigned decree lingers, an enduring reminder that within the House of Windsor, silence can be more powerful than any signature.